Good day, everybody. How are you doing? Much love here from Mr. Apollo, who is just woken up here, and myself. Great to see you. Let me go ahead and turn the volume down here on my monitor. I really appreciate the special topic that you guys chose today, which is basically a wild card reading. So whatever needs to come through will come through. Sometimes it's convenient. Sometimes it's basically things you need to know even when you don't want to know it, but it's always a blessing. Let's put down this sacred creature here and begin. We are here for a weekly collective. And if you've never come for a weekly collective, let me just put them down and talk a little bit more. But basically, the weekly collective is for the next 7 days. It will include messages that will help you travel through all of the opportunities during that period. The other thing that we will do is tackle the special topic, which is for some of us, just seeing what's necessary. A lot of times in our day-to-day lives, we end up just focusing on things that distract us or pull us out of our power. So the energy today, or the focus and intention today, is to pull you back into being present and seeing what's happening. I always begin with a bit of channeled messages. This comes through from my dream interpretation, because the night before I do a major reading, I always set an intention to receive messages that will benefit those that tune in. Today, it was really interesting. As I was waking up this morning, there was a whisper in my ear in a different language, but obviously I understood it was la mer. It was about the sea, and basically the ebbs and flows that happen when we tune into the energy of the sea. So let's chat about that, and then we'll get into the 7-day forecast. The other thing that I saw in dreams was basically animal skins that had been shedded, like basically a snake skin, if you will. And there were 7. I was shown the number 7, which has been coming through a lot. I've been seeing 7s for the past month. So it feels like not only that's appropriate here as we look at 7 days, but for many of you, it could be a half a year, 7 months. It could be just a little bit under 2 months, 7 weeks. So look at the energies of 7s. I've been seeing this a lot, and see how it plays out for you. Definitely a recurring theme in retrograde. So the sea came through for whatever reason. A guide was speaking French to me this morning, but I was like, okay, we'll talk about the sea. For me, ebbs and flows, cycles, the energy of creation and destruction, all of these things are comprised in that totem. But what I wanted to focus on today was kind of the way a wave works. And it can start its momentum either hundreds or thousands of miles away from the shore. And it basically builds momentum over time. And just like any sort of change or development in our life, sometimes it's almost imperceptible when that first, that moment of change happens. It's not until it's set in, not until you've changed so much that other people are seeing the change that maybe it clicks that this is happening. So you may be in the throes of change. You may be at the beginning of it. You may be right at the end. But this is basically saying trust in the energy and the movement and the momentum that comes with that sort of a shift in your life. Don't rush. Let it all build naturally. And then also go with the energetic flow. We can try as much as we'd like to feel a different way, to do something that we don't want to do, that doesn't work for us, but invariably things are going to find a way to work themselves out where you're back on path. So this is going to be really important for you to trust your intuition, your gut instinct, and don't force the flow of energy. Don't rush the flow, and know that everything comes in cycles. And we'll take a look when we are in the Celtic Cross a little bit later at what's karmically happening in the past to see if there's anything to release. And then, because I was being shown like snake skins, shedding your skin is important. The number 7 being associated with this. There could be 7 incremental steps or changes. It could be the end of a 7-year cycle for some of you. But basically, give yourself some time to, figuratively speaking, adjust to your new skin. Whenever you change, whenever you shift, it's kind of like if you have an injury and there's a scab and then the skin is revealed afterwards. It's a little bit gentle or fragile. When you're in a new sort of way of being, it takes a little bit of time to not feel so sensitive. It's also impractical to hang on to the old. In the case of certain animals like a snake that has to shed its skin, it has no choice but to do so. To hold on to that would mean that it could not grow or live. So we have to change. Change is an important piece of life. I put the World card on that too because, well, I'll bring it back up for just a second, because you can see here she is without, and basically she just has a scarf around her, but there's nothing else. It's because you've shed all of the artifice. A lot of deities in Roman and Greek mythology, you'll see the same sort of energy, and it's basically just a sign of divinity. So we're at a place now where hopefully some of the facades are starting to fade away. And as we take a look at this week, we'll see if there's an opportunity to shed a skin, shed something that doesn't work, if there's some momentum that might be building, etc., etc. So nice segue. We're going to take a look at the 7-day forecast. This portion of the reading is for everyone present. The only piece that's going to be specific to signs will be identified as such, and that's the elemental forecast. So let's begin. I'm going to use an old-fashioned deck for this, the Morgan Greer one. I used it for the daily reading, and I was like, I really like the imagery. It's kind of bright and colorful. So let's see what's coming through for the next 7 days. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, 7's a super spiritual number too, but it has been coming through a lot over the past couple of weeks. But specifically, I was shown that number. Okay. I am shuffling them, but we are getting reversals. I read reversals, unlike some readers, but we'll kind of see where this goes. For me, it represents a subtlety to the energy or something to focus on. It is important to acknowledge it when it comes through. So, okay, not too bad. Let's begin with today. As we're going into the energy of Sunday, not that. Not Sagittarius. As we go into this Sunday, what we have coming through is a necessity to basically say no. So for some of you, Mercury retrograde, have any of you been feeling this as well? It feels like lately with technology, with everything, I've definitely felt it as well. I was talking to one of my friends and it's sort of like, is it just me? So one of the things to be aware of is finding balance. Funny, as I was doing that, the scales of justice are reversed and then the microphone itself was flipping around. So funny. Okay, so justice reverse. This is the difference between justice upright and justice reverse. When it's in reverse, it's saying it's not only okay, but imperative to say no to someone or something, or to let go of something. So shedding of the skin, today is the day to begin that shedding. The justice card in reverse will right a wrong. If something isn't working, she's going to speak up and say, this is what I need to be happy. This is what I need to basically create the proper balance in my life. Work-life balance, financial, legal, interpersonal things, whatever's out of balance, she's coming through to say, this is a time to reclaim it. If something doesn't serve you, say goodbye, say no, speak up. Don't let it sort of sit any longer. This is a time to fix that, basically, okay? So thank you for that clarity, Justice. We appreciate it. We're going to move on to Monday, and this is where things start to get exciting. So on Monday, we have the High Priestess energy. In the reverse state, it doesn't mean that you're not powerful or intuitive. It means that you may not be trusting your intuition, and therefore that can cause delays. So if something makes you pause and you think, I don't know about this. Yes, you do. You know that you need more information. Not knowing is saying I need to ask questions, I need to research, I need to get informed before I move forward. If you meet someone and you feel an immediate connection, trust that. If you feel like there's a need to go in a different direction, trust that. Just basically allow yourself to be the channel of intuition and spirit that you are. Things will work out. It's a day to lean more into your spiritual practice. So if you've been not meditating as much or not sort of tuning into your body and into your life as much as you normally would, this card is saying, please do that. It is a great day for creativity to flow through you. Don't fight, we were talking about the waves. Don't fight the rush of energy. Don't fight the movement in your life. Move with it, embrace it, and then you can have the High Priestess energy in the upright position. I'll always tell you how to flip the card when they're reversed like that. Bringing on Tuesday, this is a day where you don't want to rush. So I get it. Sometimes you just wish something was finished. The Hanged Man is saying, give it one more pass. So if you've got a letter that you're writing, some presentation that you're preparing, if you want to pull the trigger on something and like purchase something or whatever, before you take that next step, before you click send or pick up the phone or do whatever, breathe, think about it, make sure that you've checked everything off on the list, reread something and make sure that the tone is there in the right way. And if you are just feeling stuck, think to yourself, is there a reason energetically that I'm still here? Do I need to wrap up something or say something or do something? Because the Hanged Man typically is a card of enlightenment. So in waiting, basically Odin was able to learn the magic of the runes or the secret of the runes, but he had to wait a long time. And so sometimes when the card is reversed, we just want to get to the last page of the book. And this is saying you're missing like the best chapter. Sometimes the second or third to the last chapters, that's where a lot of the action happens. Then you're in the denouement. You don't want to go straight to the end. You built up to this point. This is where the payoff is. So stick through whatever you're trying to do just a little bit longer. Be very present on Tuesday and make sure that no stone is left unturned. You might find that there was a reason that you need to just sort of be where you're at. Just don't rush is the summary of that day. As we get to the midweek, Wednesday, we have the Five of Wands and it's in the reverse state. So motivation could be one of the tricky sort of issues for some of you. Like, why do I have to do this? How am I going to get this done? There could be competition. We see all of these different people pushing their ideas, their wills, their energy forward to try to get noticed. A lot of times when you're in an environment where there isn't proper acknowledgement, or what's the best word? Basically, if you're a leader, you have to give people recognition. There we go. So sometimes there's leaders that just don't recognize and incentivize people to work hard. And so what happens is people start to, it's kind of like when you're in school and there's two or three really, nobody does this as adults, but there's little kids where they're like, ooh, pick me. And there's, a few of them. No, usually as adults, that doesn't happen. It's more subtle, but people might act up or act out to be seen. So there's a chance here for some of you to step out of the energy of competition. Don't worry about being the first one being seen or heard. Just make sure that you're doing work that is smart. There's always a chance to work smarter with the 5 and the 7 of Wands. 5 of Wands, it's competition, getting in the way, or a lack of leadership or boredom. The 7 of Wands, you're taking on too much. Those are the main differences between the two. So try not to get disengaged or bored. If you are bored, ask yourself, why am I bored? Is there something better that I should or could be doing? And if you're working in an environment that lacks leadership, recognition, or incentives, maybe that's also something to address. Basically, you can get a lot of work done if you can get past that. This is a card of being busy, but we just want to pull ourselves out of some of the stuff that I just talked about. Okay, looking at the energy here of Thursday, it's feeling a lot better. Another reversal, but this is basically saying it feels like you're starting to get take a deep breath and let some things go. You need to get things off your chest when the Knight of Cups is in reverse. Knights are good. They are motion personified. When a knight is reversed, whether it's pentacles, swords, wands, or cups, it's saying pause and review before proceeding. This one, we're pausing and reviewing how we feel, because cups rule emotions. We're also pausing and looking at, has the creative intent been delivered upon? Is this intuitively in alignment with what I'm wanting to do? So intuition, creativity, all of those things are coming through, and the Knight is saying, take a moment, audit. Does it make sense? If it doesn't, should I move this way? Should I move that way? Should I move in some other direction? So the Knight wants you to tune in. And if you've been holding on to an emotion, let it go. This is the day to release it so that you can make room for something else. All right, as we take a look at Friday, this is the first card in a while here that's been upright. So we have a really positive card and a nice payoff to doing the work. 9 of Pentacles. The only thing lacking in this one is the little snail, but we have all the other symbols here. It represents, just as you see here, an abundance of opportunity, an abundance of resources, a chance for you to kind of like really just sit back and enjoy. If you need to get something done and talk about money, for sure, this is a great day to do that. There still is a message on this one not to rush. There is also a very independent energy that flows through this. So if you need to get something done and you have to do it yourself, you can see it through to completion. And if you need to fight for some more money, assistance, help, energy, etc., this is one of the best cards, the penultimate one here in the minor arcana, because we're at number 9. So you're one step away from getting what you're looking for, and you're very, very close to the finish line, and you can take it pretty much to that next step. So just work hard and be positive, and if you have to work on your own, you can do it, okay? Pretty good day for all things financial, all things resource-based, and a nice day to treat yourself, because she definitely is not lacking in luxury and treating. So even if it's just getting a little bit extra sleep, making sure that you're exercising or eating or not rushing through something, take care of yourself. Moving on to the weekend, looking at next Saturday, now it pays off. We have the ultimate card there, the 10 of Pentacles. This is a card like you see here of partnership as much as it is wealth and resources. It can be business partnerships as illustrated here. It can also be domestic. So this is a cool card. When it's domestic, it typically is saying, I'm in this with you. So in a friendship, it's saying, you can count on me. I have your back. You have my back. We can open more doors together than separately. In marriage, this can also be for some of you deciding to like sign on the dotted line, or on a contract, sign on the dotted line. It's committing to something. You can also make this contract with yourself and saying, basically here, I've gone this far. Let's finish this. I'm going to do this. So it can just be that simple contract. This is also in a traditional deck, you'll see the Tree of Life printed over top of it. And so it's saying from this point, only growth awaits. So yeah, you had to go through some stuff this week. We'll talk more about this in a second, but standing up for yourself and trying to avoid second guessing yourself, not rushing, not being bored, letting your emotions out, but then it really kind of pays off here. Now, for whatever reason, as we look at next Sunday, there's a little echo of a past sort of experience for you. This isn't just money. This can be, as you can see, wounds from the past. So this could be you bumping into somebody that you used to date, and it kind of brings up some of those feelings, or seeing a picture of a loved one that's passed and it calls back some, recognition of the loss in your life. Or there is a situation in your life where your self-worth is called into question, and it reminds you of a time where a friend, a teacher, or someone in your life made you feel less than. So this is a time to focus on healing what was, embracing all the great work, because the doors are opening up, not closing. This is an echo. This is a retrograde echo of the past. So what you want to do is be there for yourself and say, I recognize the source. I recognize the reason. I'm going to do my best to release it and focus on something that's more productive. Easier said than done. We all go through periods where we can kind of like spiral energetically, but you just have to take a breath, refocus, and don't accept something that's less than optimal. Definitely one of the messages here when we're looking at cyclical changes is not to do something that's less than what's necessary. So don't accept being underpaid. Don't let someone put you down, any of that. This is a day to really stand up for yourself, like the lessons of justice coming through. Okay, one last thing, and then we're going to move on to the next portion of the reading. Just highlights and lowlights first. So I think the most challenging days for you, for some of you, it's speaking up today. For some of you, on Tuesday, it's not rushing. I think those are probably the two most challenging. And then a week from today, healing yourself and doing some of the inner child work. I put that up as a topic often, and nobody wants to heal the inner child. But until you do, it's going to keep crying. So that's something to deal with and approach there. And then I think the best days of the week are Friday and Saturday. I think you can get a lot done on Monday. Someone's commenting about the headdress. It's actually it's a half crescent moon on this. But anyway, so there we go, folks. Let's move on from this to the elemental forecast. And before I do that, just a quick note while I'm getting everything set up. If you enjoy this, you can show some love and support by simply hitting like and subscribe. And then when this is on replay, hitting a comment or leaving me a comment and letting me know what resonates. It definitely helps. You can also follow me on social media if you like. All right, let me select a deck for the elemental portion, and then we'll get into the next thing. Let's see what's calling to me. Okay, so we're going to take a look now at the elements, and this is going to basically help us get a little bit more granular detail on fire, earth, air, and water. And here we go. Fire, earth. Okay, we got 2 for air, so we'll honor that. And water. A lot of reversals this week. So many of you are, as you're kind of approaching new change, new opportunities, there could be some resistance. I'll do my best to help you through that. Let's begin with fire signs. Here we go with the Tower. So because I connected with the wave or the ocean, I'm not so worried about this because I talk about the ability to surf. This one almost reminds me of a skater. If you've ever seen them with like that half pipe that they kind of go back and forth in, and then they do this move where they can kind of like balance themselves up for a moment. And when the Tower is upright, they almost seem acrobatic or dancing in this kind of card here. So if you can embrace the energy of movement and change and development in your life, you can kind of land on your feet or do some sort of fancy acrobatic thing and still be all right. When does a Tower happen? Why does a Tower happen? A Tower happens when we've waited too long. And it's basically the universe creating a sense of discomfort or creating a moment where there is no choice but to exit or to change. So for many of you, the good news is it's very clear on what needs to be dealt with this week. Something's uncomfortable, something's broken, something agitates or irritates you. Focus on it, fix it. A Tower reversed is actually a lot more empowered than a Tower upright. You get a chance to affect change. An example of a Tower reverse can be you hear rumors of a company that's going to merge with another company and you're working there. So you get a chance to talk to your boss and say, if this happens, I'm interested in this, or what is happening. Basically not waiting for the change to happen and then just being beholden to it. Another example is you feel tension with your partner and you say, I really want to see how are you doing? What's going on? I can sense something is up. I want to be there for you. Or this is really making me feel uncomfortable. We need to sort this out. So you're not going to just let it agitate. You're going to address it. Go straight to the issue. Take it head on. Take the bull by the horns and say, let's work on this. Let's fix this. And if you are very engaged like that, then you become an agent of change rather than basically waiting for the wave to crash on you. So surf, don't let it crash. We don't wait for a wipeout. That's basically what I would say with this. Whatever has cleared or is clearing has been cleared for your highest good. And you may not see it while you're in it, but you will see the blessing later. Okay? So try to be open, try to be proactive, be communicative, and go with the flow. That's my advice for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Moving from fire signs to earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Some of you are working so much that you're lacking the rest, the sleep, and the nourishment that you need here. This is a pretty cool Four of Swords. It's very clear to see that you need rest. So we have the 3 swords here that represent healing. You have your ace that comes from that rest. When it's in reverse, you're often burning the candle at both ends, or you are basically overcommitted. And so you can do this for a little bit, but you can't do it the whole 7 days. So, know how much you can take on and don't overdo it. That would be my advice here. If you're getting a lack of quality of sleep, focus on what might be contributing to it. Is it your bed? Is it your how much caffeine you're drinking? Is it your stress? Could it just be also a lack of sort of habits, positive habits when it comes to sleeping? So it can literally mean that or other things. This is also a card of release. So for those of you that are letting go of something, this is slow. Everything kind of heals in time. So give things time, don't rush. Another nice connection with the Hanged Man that we saw a little bit earlier. Okay, so That is the message for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Now let's go to air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You got a double whammy this week. Your presenting energy is opportunity. And who doesn't like that? So we have an ace on top. And this is basically saying in this 7-day period, you can get a lot done. You can actually, you might even also have a couple of opportunities coming to you. So you get to sort of use the energy of the scales here. Some of you might have to say no first to something to create that opening so you can accept something. You actually showed up. Justice is Libra. So know that there's at least one more opportunity on the horizon, even if something challenging happened. Now for what's presenting, or not for what's presenting, what's underneath the surface. So we have the Hermit in reverse. So this is basically saying, for some of you, to open the opportunity, you have to come out of your shell. Or when you share your insights, your research, or allow people to truly see you, then that's when something comes to fruition, okay? So the other thing that I would say with this is perspective is often gained by getting away from something. So if you haven't given yourself a chance to take a vacation, take a walk, take a trip, take a hike, I'm looking at this person at the top of the mountain or the top of the hill. That's one of the reasons I love hiking. I haven't been able to do it the past couple of days because we've had slightly inclement weather. But whenever it's good, whenever I have time in my schedule, I try to get to hike maybe like 3 or 4 times a week. And when I get to the top, it's just a reminder of how beautiful the world is and how it is important to literally get away from our problems and our worries, because that's when you start to see the opportunities for what they are. So get some space, get a bird's eye view, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Share your insights. And for some of you, I feel like you might have done enough research, enough work, because in reverse, this card is basically saying it might be time to move to the next thing. Okay. Now let's move on to water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And since I dreamed of water today, I'm really curious what is coming through for you. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. She's in the reverse state, and she's saying, don't be afraid to ask. Whatever it is, ask a question, ask for more help, more advice, more support. Abundance is on its way. I love that the rabbit made an appearance here. And a reverse Queen of Pentacles takes care of herself. She's not afraid to do that. And knowing that sometimes modeling that behavior is really important. So that means getting proper rest. That means not working 24/7. That means if someone hasn't given you enough, you say, this isn't feasible. We need more time, more energy, more support to make that happen. So I'm with you. I'm with you. I want to make this happen, but it's important to find that sort of, find the connections necessary. Okay? Yeah, it's the spirit within. Folks, if you want to check out my website, all of the decks are listed there. I typically don't identify each one because then it becomes an advertisement, and I just want to focus on what we're looking at here. Okay, let's move on to the special topic for today. We're going to look at, again, whatever you need to know. Wild card was the first piece. So this is basically saying we trust spirit enough to know that sometimes we don't want to know, but we need to know. And through that lens of embracing whatever needs to come through, we're going to take a look at that today. All right. Again, welcome everybody. If you do want to show some support, by the way, you can do that with super stickers and super chat. Thank you in advance to the folks that have done that. I know Dakota's thanking in real time. And I mentioned my website. You can go to my website if you want more information on the decks. There's actually a link at the very top. And again, if you ever want to get reminders, you can follow me on social media. All right, let me go ahead and put the camera down and let me pick the deck for this. I'm kind of doing it all in real time today. I may actually do the black and white deck here that I used on the supermoon. It was good. Tarot of the Abyss, since everybody wants to know the decks today. All right, special topic time. Everybody's welcome here to this portion. We need to see what we need to see with this. All right. All right, let's get started. Kind of interesting that I pulled the sun for today, and you guys are coming up today with this energy and health, one with the sun, so that's cool. Let's go ahead and focus first on the catalyst and take it from there. All right, so we have a snapdragon coming through in the catalyst, and it says graciousness and benevolence are the things to focus on. We have a quote here: no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. That's nice. So dragons also, just because I'm thinking of a dragon, it's the ability to, you don't have to always like prove your power. Sometimes understated shows of power are more important than basically telling people you're the boss or expecting things. So the kindness, the benevolence, the graciousness, that's actually the true sign of power. So I like how they've associated a powerful flower with those sort of energies here. So really, really beautiful. Here's the interesting thing. You're going to be tested, some of you potentially, to lead with kindness, perhaps when other people have a hard time doing that. So if you can remember that you can sleep with yourself more easily at night if you do that. And typically I found that it tends to wear the other person down. And we're not talking about aggressive politeness. We're talking about truly being kind and just saying that, you know, like there's no beef, there's no drama. I'm not feeling that. And eventually that person is going to go in another direction because you don't want to be insincere with the kindness. But if you can truly lead with a heart-centric approach, typically it's especially if it's this energy, this was in your outcome, El Diablo is going to go in another direction if you are kind, honest, and transparent and open. That's not what attracts that energy. So that's how you can overcome it. Already we can see something that will help you out there. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look here at the Celtic Cross, helping us navigate everything that we need to know. And again, this is going to help us through this next week here, but possibly longer for some of these karmic or cyclical things. All right, as we go into deep, actually, well, we're not going to do that. We'll go to the center. The deep past is interesting because there was 2, 10 of Pentacles and 7 of Cups. So it's a question of what do you really want to do? We'll talk more about that in a second because I was drawn to that. Smack dab in the center, though, we have Queen of Swords energy in reverse. Very close, almost identical to Justice when it comes to doing the right thing. She's often connected to legal advice, you know, the law, speaking up, written word. So something may need to be rewritten or reimagined because it's not quite hitting home right now. And I want to just look at this, this, and this. So speaking your mind, standing your ground, and basically, if there is anything that doesn't feel right or is legitimately not right, it's about making sure that this energy, the devil, is on its way out. All right, Queen of Swords, let's go a little deeper, and we'll move on to what's crossing her card. So I love that this sword is almost like a torch too. So words can illuminate, they can also eviscerate. You have a choice with the Queen of Swords. She can either be really, really inspiring or she can be cruel. So we want to go towards the inspirational piece because we want to bring in the energy of the Snapdragon. In the reverse state, what the Queen of Swords is going to do is speak up, say exactly what needs to be said, get in, get out. The highest version of her. She's just going to say, no, or that's wrong, or we said this, why are we doing that? She's not argumentative. She doesn't have to be cruel. We can look at this in the elevated form. There is the potential to go in for a low blow or to say something, but you're not going to do that because you're watching this. That's not really the power of the Queen of Swords reversed. She's just not going to waste any more time. If something needs to be said or done, she'll do it. If something needs to be revised, she'll revise it. If a wrong needs to be righted, she's going to do her best to do so. And that's the way to kind of embrace this. Because when I look at the illustration, there's nothing cruel here. I think she's probably just a little bit sick of some of the energy that's been going on in the past, and it's sort of like, let's do it. Let's take some action. Let's make it happen. And we have a very kind card crossing her. That's how we can kind of tell the tone of this. The Empress is nurturing. And because it's crossing, we can just assume that it's in the upright position here, which is divine feminine, which is kindness, which is mothering, which is nurturing, which is birthing energy personified. And so in order to get something started, sometimes you have to be the one. And that's what we can kind of like glean from this, is that some of you might just have to be the one that takes that first step and nurtures something. And maybe it's for you. You got to nurture yourself. You got to speak up for yourself. No one else is going to do it otherwise, okay? Some of you may also be clearing energy with bosses or parental figures in your life. So this is a great time to stand up for what's right for you as well. As we look at your deep past, here's the karma. Here's the cyclical energy that we really want to focus on. The first and the most important piece is clarity. So the Seven of Cups, let me just put the other card down for a second here. The Seven of Cups is a great card for dreaming and exploring and ideating. However, when one stays in the Seven of Cups too long, nothing gets done. Also, if you ask too many questions, do too much research, worry too much, it also leads to stagnation or indecision. So there comes a point where you just have to take what you have in front of you and move to the next thing. And that's kind of what this is saying. From the universe, a more concise version is, what do you want? Be clear. And the universe is asking you that. What do you want? Can you be clear? I will help you, but you have to figure it out, okay? Take some time to do the research, to dream, to explore, but eventually be clear. The clearer you are, the sooner this can happen. And I like that the Ten of Pentacles is actually shown as two hands here connecting. There is a person or an opportunity that's ready to reach out, and it looks like it has the ability to last, but it's only going to come through if you're sure of yourself, right? It's good to be, someone saying their head's in the clouds. It's good to dream. We need that. But we also need the ability to take that, even rain, water, eventually reaches a point where it has to fall down, right? The condensation in the clouds. So there comes a point where you have to let it go. You have to move on to the next thing. Even the clouds can't hold that energy forever. And you could reach out to someone to help. As we kind of zoom in on this, you can see there are people here. The stairway may be winding and not quite obvious, but once you get things started, then it starts to get easier and the path reveals itself a little bit, okay? All right, so just to reiterate the first messages of what you need to know, it's time to take action. You have the power to create. Don't second guess that. It's good to dream. It's also great to do. If you need an accountability partner, a manager, or someone in your corner to help pull you down from the clouds into the ground, well, we got a grounded energy here with the Ten of Pentacles. Reach out for help, ask for some assistance, okay? You don't have to stay in this state. And not everybody has the sort of wherewithal to, some people are just creatives and they're constantly gonna be there, great. Then that's why in a traditional, I worked in marketing companies for a long time, for 15 years. So you'd put together a team. You would have a creative, you would have a business development person, you would have a project management person, you would have also, just the technology person. Each person could kind of sit in their fields, but they'd come together occasionally. Even the creative would have to get the work done at some point. And sometimes the technology person had to be creative, so you meet in the middle. But you might need the team together, and this can definitely be a team. A team can comprise 2 people. It can also be 10 people. So as big or as small as you need, teamwork is the next piece that's coming through. All right? There are roles and people that can help you with those different roles out there. All right. 9 of Pentacles, she's showing up again, right? She came through at the end of the week on Friday. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles. They came through here as well. So I like it when we have a synchronicity. This is basically reminding you you can do it on your own. I love that she's holding a little bird. And like a bird that needs to fly, sometimes we just need a nudge. Also, very close to what we were talking about with this, someone else can nudge you. And there is a certain amount of work you can get done independently in this period of time that's going to be really good. It looks like that ends around Friday because that's when this card came through. And then we got the 10 of Pentacles. So by Saturday, teamwork should be underway. And you should be letting go of something. And like this little bird here, you should have the wings to fly, okay? That's really all we need to say with this, but I do like that so far we have 2 of the most abundant cards in the deep past or the karmic energy of this. So it tells me that you're in a place of worth, of value, near completion, all right? So if you set out to do something, now is the time to complete it. Let me take a break, get a quick drink here, and then we'll talk about this crowning card. Okay, in the crowning position, We have the Ace of Swords. This card in reverse is basically much like the Queen, is saying, all right, what's the delay in action? Again, it could be just a no, I don't want this, or this isn't right. It could also be taking pen to paper or highlighting something in a Word doc and, saying, listen, let's change this. Something needs to be moved around a little bit. It's not right. So make the adjustment, make the edit, raise your hand, speak up. And then once you do that, you have a chance to move in the right direction. There may be something that happens faster than you thought it would. So this is also about being prepared for speed and opportunities happening in that sort of newer, quicker speed. Also, you can just push back on something if it's not right. Definitely push back on negativity and criticism that is not constructive. It doesn't have a place in this week. It's not going to help further the cause. You have the strength, the power, and the wherewithal to make whatever you want to happen. The Strength card in the upright position is auspicious. It's in the near future. She actually, in this deck, is not putting her hands in the mouth of the lion. So that also shows me stronger partnership, equity, and balance, which is good because that's one of the things that was called into question when we were looking at this week. Today is a day for balance. This, to me, is a true Strength card. I think that the old archetype, it has a time and a place. What's good about the old Strength card is it basically shows you that even when someone tries to force something, you can say, nope, I'm just as strong as you. But there's different ways to show your strength. So she's tamed the beast here. She doesn't have to put her hands in the mouth. Because when that happens, to me, it's almost like a ventriloquist making you say or do something. So it's better to have earned the respect of someone that's equally as powerful as you. So strength is not about a show of strength. That's the message from Spirit. If you're an equal, you're an equal. And if someone recognizes it, great. And if they don't, that's on them. But you don't have to prove it anymore with this card, okay? Could be a strong Leo in your life as well. All right, here's how you're showing up. Busy, but good. The Eight of Wands in this deck is really cool because it's calling into question, are you headed where you want to go? So we see birds migrating like they do in the different seasons. You see all of the wands here. The card in the reverse state is saying it might be time to change your direction. It might be time to ask yourself if the movement is simply because so like the Eight of Wands, you're throwing the wands up in the air and they take on their own energy. There does come a point where they're going to fall where they need to, but sometimes they're moving simply because they were thrown. So are you moving simply because you were pushed, or are you moving because you want to? With the Eight of Wands, you can get caught in the momentum or in the sort of spirit of something, but if you might lose connection or grounding. And so ground yourself a little bit in what you're trying to do. Again, if you're flying in the sky, have someone else kind of pull you down if you need some grounding or some support. And if you need to change directions, okay? It's a busy period. You can get a lot done. If you like where you're going, let the momentum carry you, okay? In the environment, now we have the upright Page of Swords. So taking action, speaking up, revising, now it's finally starting to work. People are listening to you. It takes a couple of attempts, folks. It may take a couple of edits, a couple of revisions. Sometimes you have to repeat yourself in different ways. I had something the other day where I'd purchased something and I was worried about there's a delivery that has to take place. I'm like, is this going to fit? I was talking to someone on the phone. They couldn't get it. I had to actually go into the store and show measurements. And then they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. Sometimes people can't imagine it. So you might have to use more than words. So don't be afraid to illustrate or have a face-to-face. Have you ever noticed how, to me, sometimes texting is tedious? And even on the phone, sometimes there comes a point where you can only get so much across without being in the same place as someone, or at least seeing their image, right? So this is a moment where it might make sense you have to see them or see it in order for it to come together. And we see her looking at that energy in front of her. So sometimes the words, they only go so far. So maybe a demonstration of sorts would be good here. Listening is really key. Pages have to listen as much as they have to pick the right words, and especially the Page of Swords. So make sure that your words have been heard, and if they aren't, then try to go in person, try to show a different way, try to speak in a different manner, speak to the audience. Don't just kind of like continue speaking at someone, speak to them. All right, as we look at hopes, fears, and opportunities, Three of Pentacles. This is a really interesting Three of Pentacles. It's reversed, but let's look at it upright. It's a tug of war sort of thing. Remember that game when you were a little kid? I don't know if they still do that in physical education, but one of the things we had to do was kind of like pull the rope and try to figure out who was stronger. Guess what? It's not about one person, it's about a group. If the group works together, then things get done. And if they don't, then they all fall on each other. So the Three of Pentacles here is reminding you that it was probably a group effort that got you to this point. Three of Pentacles is great. It's recognition, it's completion. For many people, it can represent training, schooling, etc. But it's a job well done. So let's make sure that we remember the group effort and not get caught up in the competition. Because really, I mean, tug of war, it's not something you want to do forever. It's just a demonstration, really. And you end up kind of getting your hands all torn up. It's not something I'm in any rush to do anytime soon. So I think that really kind of remembering that it takes a village sometimes to get stuff done, and remembering the importance of recognizing that, because this card in reverse is a lack of recognition. So in simple terms, thank you. That was great. I appreciated that. If you're not getting it, ask. Not like in a begging way. Just say, was this what you were looking for? I wasn't clear on your feedback. Do you want more of this or less of that? You don't have to beg for the gold star, but just say, I need to know if this is hitting the mark or not. And if it's not, constructively let me know what I'm lacking. If it is, it would be helpful to hear when it is, so that I can focus on other things. That's a really adult way to say, I need to know where I stand, okay? And so if you need to know where you stand, communicate that. Queen of Swords energy right there for you in reverse. Not demanding, not sort of cutting or anything like that, just saying, is this what you were looking for? For yourself, remember, you're not always going to get it in everyday life. So as we become adults, as we go further down our paths, we realize, especially when parents and people that we've come to love may not be in our lives anymore, you're sort of like, you have to be that for yourself. Like, good job, I did that, all right. What do I want to do next? You have to be your own energy of the Empress. You have to be your own strength, right? And in doing so, then you no longer rely on other people and you don't have to surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up. You lift yourself up, right? And hopefully then you're attracting people that have already done the same energy as well. All right, the big opportunity as I'm looking at the week ahead is avoiding this. So the Devil card is limitations in thoughts, limitation in, well, it's not just thoughts and actions, but it's also sort of being around people and environments that limit you. So you may be in a place where there is a glass ceiling and you can't get through because they're afraid to lose you, right? This is a really interesting card because I'm looking at it, it's almost as if it's like an angel that can't quite fly here in this particular deck. They're being tied down. When it's reversed, it reminds me of a bat or the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man has come through a couple times. For some of you, like, because this looks like a traditional Hanged Man, I would say, when you've learned everything you've learned, it's okay to let go. You don't have to stick around if it's a Hanged Man upright. The Devil reverses, here's how you can get through it. You say exactly what you need to say, the truth. And you are honest, and you are transparent, and you're a person of your word, and you're accountable. And if you are all of these things, that energy doesn't like you, and it doesn't want to stick with you. So this is really calling into action your accountability, and your honesty, and honesty with yourself, and then also letting go of things that are kind of anchoring you down. If you can do that in this period of time, I feel like then you can free yourself. Let's expand the forecast and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny and see what additional messages are coming through. Beginning with the energy of health, I took some time today to get some new oracle cards. I like to change them up about once a month and then use them for the month. So one with the sun is what the health is for today. This is connecting you with your solar plexus. So the next piece of information that you need to know here is what's going on in your core, in your right around your stomach. For some of you, you might be holding the stress there, so there could be issues with digestion. Some of you, there may be a weakness in that area, and this is a call to strengthen the core, to speak your mind. We certainly got a lot of power cards here. Queen of Swords, Empress, Strength, even the Devil card in reverse is about reclamation of power. So all of those things are portending positive movement. So I like that. This is also in tarot a birthing card. And if you watch my daily card read for today, and you should, you'll see two lovers in front of the sun. And so it can represent partnership, birthing, and also the ability for you just to be really charismatic. So all of those things are comprised here as well. Let's just look at this in respect to your just general health. What can you focus on? Okay, concentration. Whenever the Seven of Wands comes through, or not Seven of Wands, Seven of Cups comes through, it can represent a period of time where, again, lack of focus. You can work with someone on that. You don't have to, some of you might be trying to solve everybody's problems or everything at once. You don't have to do that. You can work with a team. Teamwork will make the dream work. Some of you are maybe tired or wanting to put more energy into physical health. Perfect. Again, this is a great time to work with a professional. And again, standard disclaimer applies. You should be working with a professional when it comes to all things with your body or your finances. Let's see what else is coming through here. You know, the Devil card in reverse is sometimes when you're just about ready to get over something, the universe will give you one final test. So this is you passing the test and just saying, no, not going to do that. It could be a person that you hang out with that always pulls you down. It could be a group of people that you associate with that maybe bring you into unhealthy thoughts or activities, and you're like, I'm done with that. I don't need that. I like these people, but they're not healthy for me. So you're going to cut a necessary cord in your life, but it's not easy, because in reality, the Devil is alluring. It's a beautiful card or a sexy card, but it's not something that's going to be. It's not the true version of itself. The Lightseer's deck comes closest to that. The Devil brings you in with an enticing energy, but you know in your heart of hearts, this isn't worth it. So there's something this month where you just know, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done. So that's step one to getting through it. Step two is maybe working with another person or a group of people to stay in that energy. So a better group to surround yourself with. Just take care of yourself. That's the key thing here. Some of you might be starting a family. So obviously, during that period, you really want to take care of yourself as well. Okay, let's move on from health to wealth. Wealth is life purpose, career, resources, etc. For the first time in a while, some of you are starting to see yourself, maybe as others do, maybe as your higher self or the universe does. And this is a chance to reflect on true purpose, not what mom and dad wanted, not what was expected, not sort of just what was convenient. This is saying, what is this all about? Why am I here? I had big shifts in my life and in my career when my parents exited the planet, because it brings into realization mortality, right? This life is finite. It doesn't necessarily have to be short. It could be long. So when people say life is short, I'm like, no, life is finite. It could be long, but it is finite. And because it is, that means that you want to make the most of it. So if you're doing something that doesn't bring joy, fulfillment, doesn't make a difference, doesn't contribute to your legacy, is leaving you wanting or needing, why? That's all this card is saying. And then what do you want to do that starts to address some of those things? And it doesn't have to happen overnight. It can happen. You can put this on your 2, 3, 5, 10-year plan. I don't care. But eventually get to living the dream, right? Because this was the dream, and this is someone that's going to make it happen. Partly you, partly someone else. So the big thing that Spirit's saying is like, let's do it. What are you waiting for, right? Let's look at the energy of wealth right now. If you can see it, you can do it. Believing is seeing. The high priestess energy that was doubting herself on Monday. This is how you deal with that. You have to see it and believe it first. So you have to value yourself. You have to believe in yourself, and then other people come rushing in. What's coming through for wealth? Well, for some of you, this and the outcome is all we need to focus on. So there could be a place again where there really isn't a reason to stick around because there's no room for advancement, the management's not great, or you don't like it. So you already know. So for the folks in that camp, you have strength cards, literally strength, but like strength and leadership cards at the center. Queen of Swords, Empress, and the Strength card. Can't get any bossier than that. All we're lacking here is the Queen of Wands. But we've put these all together and they're pretty bossy. I mean, the Empress is the bossiest next to the Emperor. So you've got it. You can do this. But you might have to pull yourself out of this situation and go to the next thing. And it's researching, asking questions, reaching out, pulling at your network a little bit here as well, okay? This can be a decision to get training or go back to school, and it's a good decision. You never really have to question the Three of Pentacles. It's worth it. You're busy, but are you busy for a reason? Is it time to focus it in a new direction? Could things be easier if you tried something different? So really, this is an invitation for many of you to just take a deep breath and recalibrate and sort of focus on direction. If you're happy with where you're at, what I see here is maybe a resistance to receiving more or to partnering up, because we do see some partner energy here and we do see a lot of resources here. So don't limit yourself. Let the sky be the limit. Let the universe show you what's possible. If you're afraid of doing something, do it anyway, like not in a way that's risky, but just afraid of rejection. Well, you still should try it, give it a shot, because you never know how far you might go until you give it that sort of like chance. So that would be my 2 cents worth on that. Let me see if there's anything else here. I like pretty much everything that I'm seeing. I really like the Queen, Ace, and Page of Swords. Some of you have something that you're writing or editing. It's gonna get there. It's very close. So don't give up. I like the overarching sort of energy of it, and I think others will receive it well. Don't let the limiting thoughts get in the way of that. This is a great time to speak up, speak out, publish. Again, really make sure that the contracts that you sign are good, that you agree with them. If you don't like it, do it yourself or find someone that is going to respect you for what you have to offer. Okay? And again, wherever you're at, there should be that energy of grace and benevolence. And if it's not there, it's time to move in a different direction. For those that are looking at sort of the finite nature of life, aka the mortality, again, we don't know the exact end chapter, what it's going to look like. There's still work to be done. There's still pages in your book. So what's next? What's next is really what this is saying. Write a new chapter, because this is a card of writing, and you've got many cards of writing and communication. So you get to write your own ending. This is like a choose your own adventure. So choose a different outcome if you don't like where you're at. That's what I would say on that one. All right, let's move on to love and relationships. I looked at this and I'm like, okay, I forgot this is my wordy deck. All right, this is, the first card is gonna touch everything, and my goodness, this is a lot of words. Okay, so we have action. We can almost skip everything else on that. The main thing that is lacking in some relationships is action. Let me just read it. This is gonna say it's time to act probably in 10 different ways. Now is the time to act. Opportunities are here. Move forward with confidence. Your talents will always help you land on the pinnacle. Your quick wit and keen senses will lead you to success. So let's summarize this. You're talented. You're able. It's time to make it happen. It might be time to edit too. But yes, take action. So if there's something that you want in a relationship, speak up. Even if you're with an intuitive, they shouldn't have to pull out their deck of cards or meditate or throw some runes on the table to figure out what's going on. So talk to them, and vice versa. So that's the main thing that I get from that is talk and then follow through on the talk, because we can't just have talk. We also need action. All right. Well, let's look at relationships, folks. In a relationship, looking for love, single and happy. In a relationship first. There's something that needs to be talked about, or that there might be a fear or anxiety that you're going through. Really trust your partner. I mean, for better or for worse, we have the partnership energy really nicely illustrated with this 10 of Pentacles. So if you can't trust them, who can you trust, right? Speak, ask, listen. All facets of communication need to be underway. We didn't just get one card, we got 3 cards of communication. So there might be multiple phases here of doing something. An announcement, a question, listening, and then partnering up. Not trying to compete either, just really trying to partner up. Can you guys work through anything? I believe with the Strength card and the Devil in the reverse state, yes. But the Devil needs to be dealt with kindness and with honesty. So if there's something that's bothering you, speak up, do so in a constructive way. Deal with problems together. Don't try to deal with it alone. Don't try to control one another either. You're there to assist, to support. You don't have to fix, though. I think that's the main message there. Listening and communication will lead you to a happy outcome. Something needs to be discussed. It's manageable. And for some of you, it's just like, are you going to do this? You can simply just say, I need to count. Can I count on you? Here's how you can do it where it's not you sort of nagging. Just say, I'm only going to ask once, and I really want to make sure that I can depend on you. If you have any doubt, say it, because I will give this to someone else, because I'm not going to, you just can't, there are certain things where you have to make sure that the person is there for you. If you have to consistently ask that, that's a bigger issue. But just say, I really want to count on you, and I'm going to trust you. And another way to do this, I had a boss it was a really clever way of leadership. He would assume the absolute best of everybody and just say, I know you're going to hit this out of the park, and I know if you have a question, you'll come to me, and I'm not going to bother you because I trust you 100%. It was like that. He would put a lot of pressure in affirmative statements like, don't mess it up, ask for help if you need it, and you better do this because I've already talked you up to everyone. But he didn't say it that way. It was just like, I really believe in you. You've done a great job on these other things, and I know you'll come to me if you need help. And I did. And I did on both levels. So build people up if you can on things like that. You could say, I know we've always been there for each other. This is something that I really need. I'm going to give this to you, and I trust you with this. So rather than nagging, build them up. That would be a great way of kind of like avoiding the negative pieces of the Queen of Swords there. And I think encouragement is better than putting out negativity, graciousness and benevolence. Isn't it nice to hear things and you have to be speaking the truth too. If someone's still struggling, just say, I really like the growth that I've seen here. And I think that this is going to be a perfect opportunity for you to show that you can really do it. I want this for you because I think this is going to be a victory for you. That's another way to build someone up. And I'm here. I've got your back. You have to ask and I'll help. I'm not going to bother you, but kind of build them up that way. Even if you know that they need some training wheels and some support, give them the team to help them out. So that's what I see here as building up, not breaking down. If you build up and if you're honest, you're good. If you break down or nag, it's not going to go in the direction you want. All right, let's move on. For those of you looking for love, yes, absolutely. Here's what's going on though, and this is why I paused. There's too many options, and it's because of this card. So whenever the Seven of Cups comes in, it's not an optimal time to meet, quote unquote, the one, because you're going to get the many here. We have the Empress, we have the Queen of Swords, we have the Strength card, we have a Page over here as well, we have possibly a Capricorn. Okay, too many things. Focus. It's important to focus on what matters first. So can you find love? Yes, but I don't think you should right now. Hot take. I think you need to focus on what matters to you, what direction you're headed in, focusing on personal health, personal finances. Get all your ducks in a row first. And then once your ducks are in a row, then you can spread your wings and you can fly. It looks like there are two energies that are closest to you. The Strength card is coming through, but this is a very strong individual. This is someone who is outspoken, who likes getting their way. And you guys are very similar. The Empress and the Strength card, they could be best friends. Partners can be interesting because they both like to be the boss. So what you're going to have to find is compromise. I like that. If you're very strong, you're going to pull a strong person in. But just figure out where you're looking for, like what you're looking for exactly. I think right now it's more important to focus on personal development and self-healing, and then you can focus on this. But can you find someone? Yes, they're very strong. They're outspoken. They're learned. they may not want to settle down, or you may not want to settle down. And that's something to look at too and be honest of, or they may not be unattached, may be in the middle of a divorce, so there could be a third party involved that is complicating things. I think it's better to pause right now if you're single and happy. I'm sorry, if you're single and looking. If you're single and happy, yay, this is exactly where you need to be. Single and happy, you can get some great stuff done when it comes to work. Health and personal development are in great places as well. It's just a super productive period for you. And there's nothing negative to be said for those that are single and happy, other than I think everybody could benefit from being a little bit more decisive in this period of time. So I'll leave it at that. Now let's focus on your destiny card. And destiny is basically the direction in which you're headed. It says, thank you for blessing my path with love. Some of you may be receiving symbols in this, like each of us have different totems. I would probably just call this totem because you have different ways of connecting to spirit, like it's a wink from the universe. So for me, it can be like a hummingbird, a butterfly, certain things, actually ladybugs for me as well. All of these things, I see them and I'm like, oh, things are going to be okay today. It's going to work out. There'll be a way that it all comes together. So look around for signs and signals. They don't have to just be insects or animals. It could be music on the radio, a billboard, a license plate with certain numbers that are sacred to you, all of these things. So tune in. Signs and symbols abound. And this is a period during which you can use those to your advantage and also as a sort of message this way or this way. Okay? Now let's take a look at one card for the big idea. So the big idea today is, of everything that we've talked about, is there still something that you need to focus on? What else do you need to know? We'll put it that way. Page of Cups, okay. And lo and behold, we have a nice wave on this particular card. The sea coming through loud and clear. This page is on a ship and it's really beautiful actually. Okay, so Page of Cups. The thing to focus on is where the heart space is at. He's looking at a map on this card. I have to look a little close because it's all black and white. So he's looking at a map. Looks like he's holding his chalice up to the sea, kind of catching the energy, catching the waves. And you can see the sails starting to move the boat here. So passion ignites, passion moves forward. Passion is what creates that wave of change that's incoming. So for some of you, when I pulled the tower, you know that wave is already here, but for the rest of you, it might be slowly building. It first starts with, I think the most important thing is when you make a decision. And the second biggest thing is when you take the first step to realize it. But I'm sure many of you have had the aha light bulb epiphany moment where it's like, this is what I want, or this is who I am, or that's who I love, whatever it is. So sometimes your heart opens up, your head clicks, something happens, and it's like, there's no way I'm not going to do that. I really hope for some of you that you can have these aha moments. I'd like you to focus a little bit until you can connect with something that really excites or ignites or inspires. And if it's been a while since you felt that sense of a butterfly or a risk, that putting yourself out there, that's what you need to be focusing on creating. We need to constantly be learning, constantly be pushing. Butterflies are a good thing. We need to feel that sense of there's something at stake, right? And sometimes we just go towards the safety or the predictable. And this card is saying, don't forget, it's fun to have a risk of failure. We don't have to wager everything, but we should put ourselves out there. So the big idea is to put yourself out there, okay? We have a couple of additional components for today's reading. Let's talk about that. We're just about ready to get into a meditation, which I do on my live streams. Well, right after that, we're going to pull an additional card, and that card is going to let you basically ask me a question. So you can be meditating on it right now. So there might be something that I haven't had a chance yet to answer in all of these cards, and you're like, I really need to know this before I get out and enjoy my Sunday. Well, focus on that now. First things first, we're going to meditate. And the meditation is going to last about 1 or 2 minutes, and then we'll do the final card. For today's meditation, we have to work with the energy of the sea because it came through, and my guides mentioned it this morning, so we're going to do that. If you would be so kind to close your eyes and take a deep breath, that would be great. At your own pace, nice deep inhale. On the exhale, allow all of your problems, worries, troubles, and cares to just go away. Allow yourself to focus solely on the sound, the rhythm, and the wonderful energy that comes through breathing. If you're in a place where you can lay down or sit back in a comfortable chair, do so. And with each breath that you take, imagine that you are basically just like this Page of Cups. You're laying down on a boat, and each breath that you take is basically going to push the sails a little bit further toward your goal, your dream, or your destination. For those of you that are seeking that sort of next big thing, you're like, I don't know, Nicholas, what's next? Then just tune into your heart. Maybe in this meditation, you'll know what you don't like. Maybe you'll figure out what you do like. Maybe you'll just be present and think, I feel better. There's no wrong way to meditate. Maybe you'll just breathe and listen to the sound bowl. It doesn't matter. Just focus the intention. This one's actually attuned to the heart. So just allow it to go into your heart space and break through some of the stuff that's there. That's all you have to do. We're looking at a Page of Cups. A Page of Cups receives. So just receive a healing. Just breathe. See if you don't get some inspiration or insight while you do so. Feel the rhythm of the water and the waves as well if you want to put that into the meditation. Take a few deep breaths. Imagine that your boat is landing on the shore, that your feet are on solid ground. The sun is shining overhead. Opportunities, joy, and abundance are knocking. On the next natural exhale, you can gently open your eyes. I'd like you to focus now on the question that you have for me. Don't type it, don't speak it, just think it. Let's turn the camera down now and see what Spirit has to say. All right, we have the Knight of Cups, another cup card. This is great. And another sea-based card. It's kind of like they're on the same ship when you look at this particular deck, or maybe put it this way, right? Very cool, right? There's a continuation of the message here. So for many of you, whatever you sent out into the universe has been heard. There could be partnership energy. The Page and the Knight can be partners here. For many of you, there could also be an opportunity to simply take something to the next level. So as a yes, no, this is a yes. But as a nuanced sort of message here, it's saying we actually see this particular Knight, and I'm not kind of like a person that uses boats and everything, but he's pulling at the sails. And I feel like that helps you figure out how fast and which direction you want to go in. So he's taking a little bit more physical action, Whereas the page, when we were looking at this sort of like big idea, it was more about speaking it or thinking it or feeling it. This one's about doing it. So inception and execution, idea and actually breathing life into it. So yeah, I kind of remembered this particular deck. If you put all of the court cards together, they create scenes, which is another cool thing in this one. So you're getting there. I see the next step underway, okay? So there you go. That, my friends, is the Weekly Collective. I do this every Sunday, and I've been doing it every Sunday for a couple of years. So hope you enjoy it. I try to keep this live component in all of my readings. So if you do like what you see here, before I get into the final gratitude portion here, do me a favor. Hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already, because you never want to miss out on live stream. So please do that if you haven't. Know that it helps the channel. I appreciate it a lot. Commenting and liking helps other people find it. So that's a great way to advocate for what you see here. If you want to make sure that you don't forget about something that's upcoming, or if you're reminded of like a recap when it comes out, you can follow me on social media. It's always my full name, no extra characters. You can always go to my website or the main YouTube channel page here for more info. A reminder, I don't give private readings. Anyone that messages you and asks for money is not me. So the only way to give back, and it's optional, but it helps, is through super stickers, super chat, and super thanks, also memberships as well. And that's a nice segue. I'm going to take a couple moments here to say thanks. While I'm doing that, one other quick note before I get into that. My production schedule is as follows. I basically release new videos Monday, Thursday, Friday, unless otherwise communicated, and then live streams every Sunday and daily card reads as well. So you can also get a 1 card read per day just to tune in on the energy. Okay. Now, I'd like to say thanks. So I'm going to take a couple moments here just to give gratitude to the newest members, to those that gave back with stickers. And in the meantime, thanks to Dakota, who helped me moderate today as well. I appreciate you. All right, let's see what's going on with membership. So it looks like we have 2 new members today. Brandy, I think I saw your name right as I was logging on today. So Brandy, welcome. Good to have you rejoining. And same thing with B, it looks like you rejoined as well. So 2 and 5 months respectively. Good to have you guys here, and I appreciate it. For those of you that gave back with stickers, give me one moment here and I'll say thanks. All right, so today, here are the super stickers, and then we'll wrap up for today. All right, kicking things off was Georgie, and then I also have, and again, apologies for any mispronunciations, I'll just try to do my best. Georgie, Aja, Brandy, Monica, Kathy, Sonette, Kay Ross, Paula, Rihan, and Lucy. And very big thanks here to Paula for the lucky 7s. Nicely aligned with the message there. I appreciate the 7777. All right, let me see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. If anybody celebrated I know sometimes there's anniversaries here for how long you've been here. Icelandic Witch for 21 months. Thank you for 21 months. And let's see if there's anyone else I can see. Lucy Rodriguez, thank you for 19 months. I can't see past that in the chat, but I always like to call that out as well. All right, everybody, much love and light to all of you. It looks like you're headed on a good path. I loved what we were seeing here with respect to things kind of going to the next level in this week ahead. That's exciting. So good luck, lots of love and light. I'll see you again here next Sunday, and take a look at the main channel page because all of the September readings are now there, and I'm now kicking off the October ones. All right, much love and light. See you guys soon. Until then, bye-bye.